What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the debut album by Brannan. Basically this product is called Goddamned and it came out in the summer of 2008. So basically the fair about this product here is this particular folk was an acoustic artist. This particular folk is an acoustic and folk artist as far as this first can happen, at least from what I initially had seen off of his profile and some of those type pitches within the format of like the pictures on there and some of these album type formats. But I look at them pitches as far as saying, wanted to fuck with the sound and see what it's about within some of these type pitches because I do appreciate folk music within some of those type aspects, so it's a good type pitch. This is within the fashion behind it. This is a little bit low key within the sense, but he did have a number of albums within the relative type fare. So basically kind of like an underground kind of pop artist within the pitch behind it. Now the particular reviews about this cat were kind of here and there within the pitch behind it, a little bit more within the mixed type fashion, but the fare behind it as far as these aspects gonna go is I recommend 10 out of 12 songs on here. Is the pitch behind it. It's really only 2 within the fashion. I'm reviewing the iTunes Deluxe, which has 1 extra song. There's 11 on the standard edition, but with the iTunes edition there's a 12 song within pitches like that. So there's only 2 songs I don't recommend on here, so just to say within the pitch behind it. The appeal behind this product, just to know going in, it's not really like a commercially kind of full bound type product within a pitch. It's a little bit more, for one thing, this is a pop album within a pitch, but it just kind of has the aspect as far as saying within this is a pop album within the pitch, but just the commercial kind of appeal about it seems lower key within the pitch as far as this will kind of happen. So I look within it. It did have a couple music videos, pitches like that, at least 2 singles, which one of which was Can't Have It All. The 2 singles off this album were Housewife and Can't Have It All within those particular formats, just within the pitch as far as saying. So I look after here just being able to say, now the format about this album, this particular album is pretty quality within the pitch, but the reception about it was just not as full bound within the aspect as far as those fairs were going to happen. So it's just the pitch as far as saying, it's a little bit underappreciated within the format, but I do think in terms of underground type pop and more acoustic lick type stuff within the format, it does have some good appeals. Now there's not really immediate type ones within the fashion. The most popular songs off this album within the format of it, basically the 2 most popular songs were the singles, both of which had about 350,000 or approximately a little bit less than 400,000 plays in the pitch as far as this first can happen. So it's just from the pitch of just kind of like pretty modestly popular for like a pop album, some of those type pitches, especially ripped out of the 2000s where this is almost a 17-year-old album, some of those type formats with them, but it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying that it is kind of in more kind of lackadaisical type territory within the pitch. It is not as much full-bound kind of commonplace. I think this probably had like its relative market and niche as far as this first would kind of have them. It's just the pitch as far as saying that it feels kind of underappreciated to the aspects for saying that it probably needs more notoriety within those aspects. Now it seems nowadays that Brannan's years of being full-bound kind of musician is full-bound in the spotlight is kind of more or less kind of somewhat in the past, but it's just the pitch as far as saying it has some good appeals here. It is kind of aspect is just getting like when you think of underground pop, it's one thing to think of like underground rap, underground rock, some of those type pitches, indie rock, some of those type things, some of those type formats within pitch. When you get like underground pop music, it's a little bit different because the affability, it kind of boils down to whether or not the melodies are good, because pop is typically something that's always supposed to be commercial. So when you get to the point of getting like folks that are kind of secondary or tertiary in the pop market, it's kind of the pitch as far as you wondering, are these folks like people that have catchy melodies and good songwriting, some of those type pitches, and is it affable? But just because a pop artist without their charting songs is kind of here and there within the aspect, it would seem within the tone as far as saying whether or not it's good. But I look after it does connect pretty well in here. There's some good acoustic lick type stuff within the form. It has some good type aspects just within the tone behind it. Just kind of the pitch that it particularly kind of sticks with the themes. This album particularly kind of sticks with the themes. There's not really like differential type formats within the form. I mean, the only real song that has any sort of different type fare is just Bow-Legged and Starving, which that particular one's one of the 2 songs I didn't recommend on here. Bow-Legged and Starving is one of the 2 songs I didn't recommend on here, but just within pitch as far as saying within the facet of talking about the quality on here, this is pretty acoustic, just the way through, just the pitch between evening gaze, a lot of 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock p.m. type dredge in the aspect, just the embrace of some of that type fare. It's kind of the same sort of format when you think alternative rock out of 97, 98, like Marcy Playground and Third Eye Blind, some of those type folks, but just more in like an acoustic type format, just with more acoustic guitar, just singular with the pitch. It just is like getting alternative rock, but just with one band member as far as this pitch counts. So just aspects as far as that goldenness that you can tell by the album cover is very fitting with the golden type aspect, because that's the tint of most of this album as far as this first album, just seem interlocked with like 5:45 and 6:45 p.m. some side pitches. Yeah, I look after here. So the 2 singles, Housewife and Can't Have It All, both within those pitches. So the only I'll talk about those songs, but the only 2 songs I don't recommend on here would just be Bow-Legged and Starving, and then String Along Song. So within those pitches, but Housewife is a nice one. This is like a golden and dredgy kind of acoustic evening haze kind of getting like a light kind of alternative pitch as far as those fares would kind of happen. Just a good stretcher, I'd have to say here, good song to smoke one too within those pitches. So just the format as far as saying is paying attention to the format as to how these pitches kind of happen within the tone. A lot of this is just a lot more homebound and kind of golden frog as far as this pitch can happen. Just getting like a consistent, like something like Vanessa Carlton, but just with the pitch as far as saying just more rooted in like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock p.m. like I was saying, but this is just one for like that Sunset Gate, some of that format. It's a great one. This is more typical kind of like girlfriend type music within the format as far as this first can happen. Just the pitch as far as saying, I feel like the Bellas, Beezy's more within that particular fair. Just would kind of have like the pitch. If you go from like Metallica and Megadeth and some of those type bands, AC/DC, and like folks like Disturbed and Marilyn Manson, some of those type folks. It's good to maintain that kind of edge factor, like the pitch as far as listening to this. When you come to it as like a straight man pitch, it's like that as far as what's going to happen within the pitch of the aspects of try. I mean, the particular fair, realizing the audience that would particularly go along with this, just an aspect as far as saying the product of listening to this particular, it's not like the format of being sexist or anything like that, but kind of the pitch as far as the differential typeness with listening as far as the tone kind of happens, just the pitch as far as saying this is some good type music for Beezy's and Bellas as far as those pitch can happen. Definitely a romantic spice within the pitch as far as those formats will kind of happen along with it. Great song to kind of smoke along to within some of that fair. So just the particular format, getting that fair, it's just kind of like getting like a female type version of something that like Marcy Playground would have done, one of those type pitches. Just the same sort of format, just kind of R&B flavored to like alternative rock, some of those type aspects. So it's just good snack run. There's a number of songs out this particular album that just feel great for like snack run type fair within the pitch as far as saying within those aspects, as far as just like Neighborhood Johnson, some of that typeness. It's very much is golden, just appreciating like the setting of the outdoor brush, leaves falling off the trees, some of those type pitches, the frolic of just like neighborhood street runs, pitches like that. It's just very much within the commune of just like kind of this uptown kind of keeping some of the stuff for them. It's just in a more residential type sense, but it's just the pitch as far as saying excellent type moments to kind of have like some Swisher Sweets kind of nearby, pitches like that, have like a Swisher in your ear, some of those type fairs that just saying, you know, hell, I'm going to go pick up like a Colt 45 or Steel go pick up like a Colt 45 or Steel Reserve, some of those type pitches within the format as far as those aspects kind of go. Just the product of this neighborhood kind of within the aspect, just like some of that good type fair, but this has that 4 o'clock p.m. just kind of, I mean, this is very much like a homely, just like I was saying, the homeboundedness just within the product fair of it. This is like basically like a kind of country kind of R&B type record within the pitch as far as this fair is going to happen. So it's just the pitch as far as saying it's not like as raw and as rugged. So it's not rock centric kind of edge factor, but it's just the pitch as far as saying this has the factor of just having the particular fair as to what you would do within these products, like these songs, within listening to as far as what kind of goes along with like the activity base. It's kind of within the product. But so between like the romantic spice, also some good aspects of having like the smoke type fair and some of those type aspects that just like good kind of jaunts. But Can't Have It All is a nice one, as well as like a homely and light lick kind of neighborhood at ease kind of song to kind of get within the aspects here. Just a typical day kind of, I would say, with the aspect of it, just some Tuesday malaise as far as this first happens. So this one's just a frog, just typical type fairs. You've seen songs from like Carrie Underwood, Taylor Swift, some of these type folks within the format. I mean, this cat here, Jay Brennan, is particular kind of half. Jay Brennan is kind of half country, half folk. Some of those type pitches, a little bit of acoustic, just the format, kind of alternative. Some of those type pitches within the pitch behind, but also a little bit of pop in there. This is kind of one of those type ones. Some of these particular type Bellas has a little bit of Miranda Lambert in there. Some of those type aspects within the tone behind it. This is one of those type ones where it would be probably more like 3:45, 4:15. Some of those type pitches that just got done with some things, just the tasks and responsibilities, just the relative wrap up within those fairs. It's like the typical kind of just in the driveway smoking like something in the front yard. Some of those type pitches, just that initial kind of chit chat, just kind of at ease type moments within the fair, just like some unwind, just kind of in a this simp type sense, just within the format. Just weekday kind of malaise, definitely Tuesday, not as much kind of the dredge like the typical kind of just frustrated like a Monday, but just more Tuesday kind of relief of just in between type moments. Some of those type fairs I'd say within the pitch, Tuesday, Wednesday type fairs, weekday type ness. Some of these other type songs are real hitting, but those are the two singles just within the format. These are good type ones, but it's just the pitch behind it that's kind of being more underground type pop within the pitch. I realize that these songs have enough affability about them, but in terms of like some sort of anchor, I feel like the kind of marketability behind like the product of like it being real star-studded to the point where it just knocks your socks off, to the point where it just has like that casual kind of full-boundedness. I feel like this album is good, but the anchors off this album are kind of more personal selectors, more so in the aspect of actually saying that the casual bops on here are going to be the singles. This kind of pitch, sifting through this album, it has, like, if you do appreciate acoustic folk and some of those type formats in like a country type sense within some of those type fairs, it should connect real well. But it's just the pitch as far as saying that the biggest songs are going to be kind of more just out of pure kind of are going to be kind of more pick and choose them more so in the format of like this typical kind of word of mouth within the fashion of what the radio would have to say. So it's just a pitch, but there are some immediate ones on here. I'd say within the fashion, a couple good, nice ones on here that have some good aspects. Some of my more favorable type ones on here would be a Death Waltz and Goddamn. Those are some good type ones. And Ever After Happily is another nice one for some of those type pitches. Half Boyfriend had some good buzz single type territory within some of those type pitches. And I'd probably say like I did like the jangledness of At First Sight, some of those type of appeals, and then On All Fours is a nice one as well. That's kind of a relative immediate type one within the pitch. It just like something that just has a little bit more kind of ruffledness, or this one just has a little bit more aggressiveness about it within the pitch bond. This one's kind of not as like lazy kind of acoustic, so I look after it. But yeah, Death Waltz. A Death Waltz is a real catchy one. It's like a brushy and decayed kind of autumn stroll to kind of get here. Just a good fashion kind of snack run, I'd have to say, within pitches like that. Just kind of some chit chat, just kind of a gold type song, just golden days pitches like that. Just kind of hazy within the aspects. This one of the more maligned and malaise type ones within the aspects, as far as what's going to have not so much terrorizing within pitch, but just kind of format of a darker type tone within pitch, as far as saying that this has a little bit more kind of contemplative type aspect, more so than most of the theme about this particular album. A Death Waltz does it in a pop song type format, but it's more just malaise, kind of like, I would say, more of the fatigue of like a standard kind of dredgy kind of SFW kind of day within pitch, more so than the full bound kind of just malign of like flipping birds and just kind of being this real morose and pitches like that. This is not so much like a morbid type album. I think it has a little bit of like this dredge and frustration, but it's not as full bound kind of being like, you know, comatose kind of morose pitches like that. But still some good this is a good type song here. Definitely a media type one. Goddamned is a good combo with that. It's like a Pyrean and golden, but kind of malaised evening drift to kind of get here. Like I was saying, goes well with Death Waltz, and it's just a little bit more workaday. So it's just a pitch. I feel like Death Waltz is a little bit more brushy, something more for like late September, October, where the leaves are starting to turn colors. But this particular one is a little bit between like something like Housewife and some of those type of songs, like American Idol, some of those type ones, just more within the format of just having a little bit more of just like a Pyrean and kind of more malign type feeling about it. So it's just a pitch as far as saying it's a darker song, probably in the top three of darkest songs on here within those aspects behind it, but probably just, it's really relatively vanilla compared to like when you think of like typical kind of, you know, folks that would do pop type music, or at least, well, it's kind of tough to find like pop artists that kind of have like this dark kind of malign, but you know, compared to like probably Blood on the Dance Floor and Panic at the Disco, some of those type folks, Green Day, some of those type folks, there are darker moments, but it is good for like an acoustic album within those pitches that just has more kind of frolic and just more goldenness about it. So it's just the pitch, but a good type tone. I like these moments. Ever After Happily is a nice one. Now this is on the iTunes Deluxe Edition, so it's good to pick up this particular song because it's a good aspect here. Just another good, nice. It's another catchy one. It's like an evening embrace, kind of get within the aspects here. Just some good evening embrace, kind of gusto and enjoy it. I'd say within the aspects here, just kind of a late day outdoor kind of lunch. I'd have to say pitches like that. Just kind of some just backyard type noise, smoke a few pitches like that. Just kind of have like some barbecue, just simple kind of nest, just an after effect, this hazy kind of ruffled shifts as far as what's going to happen. So this would almost be like tailgate type music within the pitch. It's kind of more powwow type music within the relative fair, just like Neighborhood John, some of those type aspects within it, but it's just kind of a little bit more Bad Hair Day type pitches, a little bit just more jarred within the aspect, like more personal type problems within pitches like that. So this kind of the ruffledness of just having your hair out of alignment, some of those type pitches within the fair. That kind of goes along with Half Boyfriend, which is a nice one. This is a good type of appeal. This probably could have been a buzz single. This probably would have been a better choice. This one has a little bit more spark and energy compared. I mean, I feel like probably the two singles that I would have chosen compared to Housewife and Can't Have It All, which are a lot more lazy and lackadaisical, I probably would have went with Half Boyfriend and On All Fours. Is two songs I probably would have went with to promote the sound would have been Half Boyfriend and On All Fours as far as what's first going to happen. They just have a little bit more spark and jump within the appeal behind it. But Half Boyfriend's like, could have been a buzz single. It's like a typical kind of countryside kind of tailgate combo. Some of those type pitches feels like something Jason Aldean would have done. Folks like that, Luke Bryan, some of those particular type folks, Florida Georgia Line, just with the pitch behind just a few years before, like the pitch of like, or maybe not before Jason Aldean, but within the same relative range of when country was starting to have like some 2010s range within the pitch, when country was having some 2010s blow up some of those type pitches, but just typical kind of late 2000s country within those aspects, just real good for just like parking lot kind of tailgating pitches like that, or just neighborhood residential tailgating, some of those type pitches. Good song to smoke one to, once again, some of those type fairs, good sunset type music, and just a simple kind of gab within the aspects. So campfire type music or just bonfire type music, moreover, just the pitch as far as saying just kind of that particular appeal. Something that Taylor Swift would have done off of her Red album or Fearless album, some of those type pitches within the form, and just kind of typical this commotion, mild powwow, some of those type appeals within it. On All Fours, the other single I probably would have chosen for this album, has some immediate type fashions, like an Outback and Country Fried kind of local jaunt to kind of get here, just kind of old road. This particular song is like an old road kind of gravel and strut type tune to kind of get within the aspects here, just gravel roads definite gravel road, old town hop, some of those type pitches, and just good pitches like that. Good for some snack runs for us. What's going to happen. So yeah, just the product of just out and about, some pitches like that, just kind of just within the residential type aspects, whether it is in a more old town type fashion, just more places that just like neighborhood kind of country pride type. And this kind of blurs the lines between country and just residential type fare, just typical kind of stress of just like the Outback, getting like some goodies, picking up like some Bic lighters and donuts, some of those type pitches within the format of it. So good type of appeals, as I'd say. So at first sight is a nice one. It's like a mild, jangled, and perky kind of neighborhood traverse to kind of get here. Just supply pickups, I would definitely say within some of those type pitches, just kind of some preoccupied folks. So this one's just amidst like the product of being out and about, not so much like more cozy and kind of comfortable type walks, but just when the pitch is just kind of in motion within the aspect, not so much. I mean, it kind of blurs the line. I mean, some of these do feel like commerce type ones within the product, are just like stretchers. Like I feel like definitely Housewife is a stretcher, some of those type formats, but this is kind of a particular type one, or just a little bit more mid-pace within the fashion as far as what's going to happen. Just kind of, it's not so much paranoia, but just within the pitch, it just kind of ruffled some. It's kind of bothered and relative ruffled within the pitch, just like the commute of it as far as what's going to happen. It's just the pitch as far as saying some good, relative residential type hops within the pitch behind it. It's a good concept to get like some stuff, just whether it is like some red cups and box of beer, some of those type pitch, just the format of this, getting to the moments of like songs like Half Boyfriend and On All Fours, some of those type pitch. So it's just kind of a primer type one, just to miss like the commute, getting some errands done. I'm trying to think of other. I don't think I've talked about Home either. Home is like a lackadaisical kind of neighborhood and workaday relief to kind of get here. Just a lazy, get a few errands done. I'd get a few errands wrapped. I'd say within the pitch. Good song for like some Quiznos pitches like that. So this is the format of getting like a nearby type snack, some of those type pitches within it. Kind of one. This is a particular song that goes along with Can't Have It All and Half Boyfriend, some of those type pitches, but it's just more in the format of just kind of more relative relaxed type fashion. Just kind of the pitch as far as more of like the product of it being more 415, 445 pitches like that. It's like things just relatively wrapped. Just the particular fare, just like just a good, just basic kind of grab a cold beer and just chillax just in the fashion. Just a little bit of just kind of some sedate kind of flip mode within the pitch. Usually flip mode is a little bit more jarring with the aspect of getting you excited, but it's just kind of a more kind of downer type flip mode within the pitch. Not to say downer in like a negative sense, but just like when you think of alcohol being a downer, it's just kind of pitch as far as saying it's just kind of one that just calms you into like being in a good mood more so than like the pitch of like having the spark of it. It's just kind of a pitch. But yeah, this is a sedate type project within the pitch as far as this person can have. I'm trying to think of other songs I haven't talked about on here and within the format of it. I don't know if I talked about American Idol. This might be one of the last ones I haven't talked about within pitch. I'm not sure if I talked about this one. If I have, I'll just snip this part. But I'm not sure if I talked about American Idol. So American Idol is like an evening gaze, kind of typical relief, commerce to kind of get here. Rumination, definitely about this song. Just kind of some cozy activity pitches like that. Just simple kind of gab and toke as far as what's going to happen. So just within pitch, simple kind of gab and toke as far as what's going to happen. So just within pitch as far as saying just the product of this one goes with songs like Goddamned and Can't Have It All, and American Idol goes with songs like Goddamned and Housewife, some of those type pitches within the format of it. A little bit of like Ever After Happily, some of those type pitches. I mean, most of the theme of this album is pretty conjunction within the pitches as far as what's first going to happen. Just the same sort of pitch of just getting like consistent ones of these for like 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock p.m. But system and pitch as far as saying it's just the aspect here within some of those type of appeals. So yeah, the score I'm going to give this album, me recommending 10 out of 12 on here would be a 9.25. I look within pitch, I feel like 11 out of 12 would probably be like a 9.75 or 10 or almost a 10 out of 10 was just within pitch. Talk about these two brief songs I don't recommend on here. Bow-legged and Starving just really doesn't fit the rest of the album as far as this first album. It's just kind of a more scratchy and just not as synchronized and really kind of affable type one within pitch. It's just one that just didn't have as much appeal. It's just kind of one that stood out like a sore thumb, not a good way. Some of those type pitches. String Along Song was just kind of a pitch of like a more homebound type one that just didn't have as much. This one just didn't have as much affability about it as far as this first album. So I just look at the pitch as far as saying not many poor moments on here, but it's just the pitch as far as saying the casual moments, like I said, are just more handpicked within the format. I feel like the singles that were chosen for this album, the music videos, do not represent as full bound like the energy as far as like the connect that it probably needs in terms of the aspect of something a little bit more catchy and something that has a little bit more shock value to the pitch and just having a little bit more immediate type fashion. Like the best moments kind of have the aspect of kind of digging through this album, figuring out some fares as far as this pitch can happen. It's just kind of, I think it's kind of a misnomer to fuck with this product and then think like you think the most popular songs off here have the most noise and the most catchiness, but it's this kind of aspect there actually are better moments. Like I would definitely say On All Fours and Half Boyfriend just have a little bit more appeal in like a casual type sense for just like more commotions and powwows, pitches like that for some smoke sessions and snack runs, some of those type of appeals. I would say that like I do like some of the malaise and kind of like the fog and just the overall kind of just jarriness and ruffledness of songs like A Death Waltz and Goddamned and Ever After Happily, some of those type pitches within the format of it. And there's some good snack run songs on here as well, like At First Sight and probably like I would say in certain senses kind of songs like At First Sight and On All Fours and American Idol, some of those type pitches within the format as far as this pitch can go. So just a good type pitch for that. The singles do have some relative type appeal, like the snap behind that particular fair, but they're just a lot more lazy and they're just a little bit more calm within a pitch. And I feel like you probably might want something with a little bit more spark, like the format, just something that's gonna have a little bit more immediate type fashion, kind of get things energized quicker. It's just kind of a more just golden type project, more so in the tone of like this. It's just not as energetic as like the full bound shredding. It's not like that's a bad thing. It's just a pitch. If you're looking for something that really sparks things up, it just doesn't have like that feralness. But it's just a pitch, not bad. It's just golden. I look after it. So as a result, the social score would probably get like a 9 out of 10. I'd say within pitch, like the songs on here are good. The pitches behind some of these type moments within the aspect. I do like these tailgate songs and these snack run songs, some of those type pitches, and the 4 o'clock p.m. type dredge is pretty affable within the pitch as far as this fair is gonna happen. Just the aspect behind it, some of these type moments, the smoky kind of just autumn fog and pitches like that. Just the aspect of just having like some of these kind of brushy type songs, for like the aspect of just more socialized, kind of in a cooler type setting as things start to cool down and just kind of more folksy and harvest season. Some of those type pitches I look within the fair behind. It's a good type pitch for that. So I'd probably say 9 social, but it's just the pitch for saying it just, I don't know, I feel like it probably could have used like a dance song of some sort of commotion, kind of get things up and moving. I mean, this is music, but the jive about it, it's not to complain to that extent because I am giving it a 9.25 pitch like that, but it's kind of the fact as far as saying it's just more ambience and like a folk type. It's more ambience and like a folk type sense, more so than the full bound kind of like shock of it. It's not like that's a problem. It's not like that's a full bound problem, but something to notice within those fields. So I look after it. So in terms of future, like Jay Brennan has dropped a few more projects within some of those type pitches. He dropped a project before this one, which is an EP, and that has some bonus songs on it that came out in 2008 later on. So he had an expanded edition of that 2007 EP later on. I don't know if it's songs from this album or what the particular fair is, but I'm going to get to some more of these, some of those type pitches. We'll get to some more of these products. Makes me question if he does have like some dance songs, some of those type pitches to get some turn ups, some of those type moments. But yeah, this album is pretty golden. Like the aspect, like this alternative rock type dredge pitches like that, some harvest season and tailgate type music, good for smoke runs, snack runs, pitches like that, some of those type fairs. Good, excellent product for like 6 o'clock p.m., 5 o'clock p.m., some of those type golden type aspects of it. Just weekday kind of dredge pitches like that.